Intuition is a dangerous thing. Humankind has long sought answers, the truth about the stars, ourselves, and all of our reality. Reality defies understanding. Humankind takes shortcuts, leaps in logic, guesswork, acceptance of truths unproven. Reality defies understanding. We use our greatest asset, our intuition, to see the forest without the trees. Reality defies understanding. Yet, we try anyways. Intuition is a dangerous thing. Last time, all hell broke loose. People started swallowing baking soda, desperately trying to ward off whatever infection may have gotten into them. That was primarily high tide. Hunter and Dr. Collins used a slightly more medically sound approach, though they are not going through a very good time. High tide, meanwhile, was seeing fungus everywhere, while in the house of the now late mortician. Because this guy was he was babbling on and on about these weird things that didn't make any sense, and then he just kind of exploded into fungus when he died. So High Tide has been sawing up the body and burning the parts. Hallow is on the scene in a why am I blanking on the name?
Hazmat suit.
Hazmat suit, thank you. That word just didn't exist in my brain for a second there.
It didn't exist for me last week.
Yeah, fair. In a hazmat suit. Hematite has acquired some knowledge from a tape and is currently writing it all down. Something about some star people and a ritual to summon them. Encoding it in a Hematite's brand of encryption in her notebook, so that it could be potentially found and broken by other Delta Green agents, but hopefully it would be difficult for anyone else to easily gain access to this thing. And Hunter is just suffering, unfortunately. So let's jump back in, I think, the most recent place we were at, and I think the probably the best starting point here is inside the coroner's house with High Tide and Hallow. I believe Hallow wanted to burn everything down, and High Tide didn't quite want that yet, but like maybe soon. What's the plan here?
I wanted to burn the body, but I didn't want to burn the house because I didn't want to have to try to explain that away.
And Hallow was on board-ish with that, but we're also feeling like if that mold is, growing out of the floor, we need to burn the floor also. Wherever that mold is, we got to burn it.
I thought it was just on the body.
Well,
it sounded like it was kind of around the body and out of his fluids.
Say, yeah, the body is really like the primary source of the mold at the moment, but the body isn't a neatly packaged thing at the moment. It's kind of a puddle of fluids with fungus growing out of it, and then some bones and flesh and chunks and stuff. So yeah, but also you've currently got some fluids seeping into the floorboards that are growing this fungus and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right then. Well, if you don't want to burn the house down, I gotta remember I'm in a hazmat suit. If you don't want to burn the house down, then I don't know, just get a fire extinguisher. But we gotta burn all of that shit. If it has anything to do with this mold, if it can grow it, if it's growing out of it, it's got to go.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, but I don't know. I don't want any firefighters to show up. I don't want this to spread. Do we even know if it's airborne? I mean, I know we're already burning the mold anyways, but
I mean, we know it's physical contact and can get through. It seems like it can get through like regular nitrile gloves. I'm not even entirely sure that I'm entirely safe right now. So, how big is the fireplace that High Tide was starting to shove body parts into?
Not very large. It's yeah. I I'm picturing a pretty small, just like little living room fireplace.
Yeah, that makes sense. Look, we're not going to get this cleaned up with a regular fireplace. This entire house has got to go down. It's not going. It's going to take too long.
Yeah, I think it might come to that. It's just starting to not be just limbs anymore. It's kind of an ooze and more than just that. So we might have to do that.
I think as soon as he started oozing under the floor, we kind of ran out of options. We have to incinerate it. And Hala will begin once again pouring the gasoline around uh, the house. And I think he'll also go and, uh, assuming the coroner has a gas stove, he's going to turn on the gas
Mhm.
without igniting it. Signal to High Tide. All right, hey, we're going to fill the house with gas. We're going to call it a gas explosion.
Is that gonna is that gonna affect any of the houses nearby?
Probably blow out their glass.
Hmm. Do we want to try to contain this puddle first and make sure that it burns? That way it doesn't spread.
I mean, sure, if you want to try. Uh, anyhow, the house is rapidly filling up with propane or natural gas.
All right.
The longer you take next to that fireplace, the longer you risk of getting blown up. I will be outside.
Okay. I will too, and I'll grab as I'm on my way out from the kitchen. Um, I'm gonna grab a towel and tie it around the back of my head, covering my mouth,
Okay.
in case I projectile vomit. It won't be projectile.
You'll
Smart.
just suffocate.
All right. Uh, then we'll get back in the police cruiser that I was borrowing and drive a little bit down the road. I want to be able to see the house go up.
All right. And High
You
Tide, you're
wanna?
going with him. You got dropped off here before, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would. I would go into the back of the police car and with the muffle on, I would say, is there any way that you can call the police station?"
Want to
Well,
before you respond, I just want to refresh everyone's memory of this, like the picture of the situation here, and maybe refresh mine a little bit too. But I believe High Tide is currently shirtless, covered in blood and vomit. Oh, you took a shower, but you probably
took a
got blood on you
shower.
again.
clean himself
Cutting
up.
up the body.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
you
he
can clean
probably
some of the.
does
Yeah.
have something on him from cutting up the body.
You probably at least have some blood stains on your like on your skin, on your like on your clothes, whatever clothes you have remaining. Um,
Was there a
plus,
jacket hanging on the door that, or near the door, that I could have thrown on to at least cover
yeah,
most of it?
you could like steal that guy's jacket, basically. Just, yoink.
All right,
Anyways,
but I assume there's at least going to be parts of me that still have stuff showing.
yeah, you may not want to like walk into a store like that or anything like that.
I mean, I could.
You could, but yes. Sorry, you had asked a question. I'm just interrupting.
Yeah, in case you didn't hear it, Hello, I was asking if did you want to contact the police station or anything?
Uh, that's probably a good idea. So Hallow will call up the police station, and he's about to lie his ass off.
Potter,
Hey, Sheriff, your coroner is out of control. I got over to the house. High Tide was trying to fight him off. He was rapidly trying to eat metal. He was fucking around in the kitchen the last we saw him. Uh, I don't know that there's anything we can do for him at this point. I had to get my agent out of there. He's pretty banged up himself.
hold on. Yeah, get out of there. Get out of there. Did you say eat metal? We could send some squats over if you need them.
I think we want to keep this. I don't think we want to expose your men to whatever coroner got exposed to. So men probably not a good idea.
It's crazy. We have to contain him somehow.
That's true. All right, you might want to send some men over. Don't know what they'll be able to do though, because if they come in contact, they run the same risks.
You can hear him shouting a little bit more distant from the phone, like he's held the phone away from him for things muffled in the background. Him ordering a couple squads out. He brings the phone back up to his head. Okay, some men are on the way, but Agent, can I ask again? Did you say he was eating metal?
Something like that.
Are you saying that this, whatever it is, has some kind of a mental effect, a mind controlling virus? I'm finding this hard to believe, Agent.
Have you ever heard of cordyceps fungus?
I can't say that I have, no.
It's a mushroom that takes over ants' bodies and forces them to do. Oh, sorry. I know this, and I'm having trouble explaining it. But he explains essentially the effects of cordyceps fungus on ants and other insects, and the strange actions that it can compel the infected to follow through with.
I would also take the little towel out of my mouth for a little bit and I would yell, haven't you also heard what the Russians are doing? They're up to some crazy stuff.
Oh god. So you're saying this is some kind of thing like that, like this cordyceps.
Seems related.
And it's a terrorist weapon?
I can see no reason for anyone to unleash something like this other than terrorism.
Agent, you need to find the vector. You need to find where this came from. Where this infection started. We'll contain the coroner. We'll try and contain everybody else. Still trying to get in contact with the wife. I've sent another squad that direction.
Another? That's right. Is that on top of the one that you sent while I was still at the station?
Yes, we still have not heard back.
So how many officers do you have that have likely entered an infected area?
Well, I instructed the deputy I sent over earlier not to enter and just to verify that she was okay, and that she was, still alive, just do a wellness check, not to enter her place or anything like that. We really don't want to bother her. So he should not have entered. The other squad is just going to check to make sure that he is okay.
But he's not responding either.
He is not responding, no. The second squad is departing now.
He just looks back at High Tide like, what the fuck? Well,
You said the house was small, right?
It's a fairly small house, yeah.
I feel like would the house explode on this phone call?
Give me a luck roll. I think yes, it does explode during this phone call. Background. Thank you for the suggestion. What the fuck was that, Agent? What's going on over there?
Holy shit! The coroner's house just exploded. We're down the street.
All right, give me a roll for that. I think there's a deception-y type roll.
There's
Persuade?
There is persuade. I could have sworn there was one a little more accurate, but I can't remember what it is now. But since I can't find it
Would
quickly,
human be that?
human might work. I feel like it's either human or persuade, because human it's not just like the insight skill like we've been using it for a lot of. It's like specifically, it's human intelligence. It's the social equivalent of signal intelligence, with this SIGINT of like trying to get information out of, you know, and manipulate signals and stuff. It's manipulating people is all part of that. I think persuade is closer. Let's just go with that. Okay. All right, we're sending over. I'm sending over the fire department. We're getting on this immediately.
No. We can go help check out your deputy's wife's house. You can recall the officers that you sent there already, the ones that are on the way. No sense risking them. Especially if the infected are doing things like, I don't know, whatever the hell just caused that explosion.
Ooh, give me another
I mean, if
persuasion
he's-
roll to try and redirect him over there instead. Ooh, that's a close one. All right, I'll redirect that squad back to that place, back to the coroner's place. We need every man on this. I'm gonna need to make some calls, and I'll be on my way. Get out there, Agent. Find this vector. He hangs up.
All right, we got some time. You want to give Hematite a call, or you give Hematite a call? Check in on Hunter. I'll call the hotel room.
I mean, if I'm infected, do we want to drive me back to the hotel? Isn't that where the doctor is doing treatment right now?
If that's where you want to go, I can take you there.
Oh, I just don't want to spread this. I mean, I can try and help it. I was just exposed to it today, but with how much of the mold and everything that I breathed in, I don't know how far gone I am.
Tell you what, I'll keep an eye on you, and if you get any worse while we're out, I'll take you back. But chances are, this lady is probably also just as infected as you are. So I don't think she's going to be any further exposed. And I'm probably safe in this suit.
I hope so. Is there a spare pair of pants in the back of the police car?
cruiser? Would they normally carry something like that? That's not something I have knowledge of.
I don't know. I've never been in the back of a police cruiser.
I haven't either. I'm gonna say probably not. I don't know. Like, that doesn't sound like something they would just have on hand. No.
I have, and I don't remember there being pants.
I would look down at my clothes that are covered in blood and everything else that I just dealt with, and I would say, "Hey, do we want to make a stop to get me some new clothes first? Just a quick one."
We can stop by the hotel room and check in on the guys there. You can get clothes there.
Okay, that works.
So
But yeah,
we'll head to
I think we
the
should
hotel
go
room.
check in on the wife after clothes.
Just checking on something as well to refresh my memory. Sorry to derail the current topic. But I believe you guys had requested this be escalated to the bioterrorism threat with Grace,
Yes.
and she had replied back like, basically, you need some kind of more evidence indicating that it's actually terrorism for that to happen, or they can try to fabricate something, but it might take them a few days, something like that.
Mhm.
So currently, the state you're in is that like it hasn't been properly escalated up the chain or anything.
Well, I took a picture of the coroner's body before I started hacking, so
Oh, great.
that's not proof enough.
Well,
I don't think
I
Grace
guess
will be happy to receive that picture.
it's correct. The other half is that is definitely proof that there is something very wrong going on here and some kind of pandemic. In fact, that's probably the kind of picture you don't want to share around because it's clearly unnatural. But if you want to pass this off as an act of bioterrorism, you need to find or fabricate some evidence that shows that somebody did it, basically, that somebody like started this, not just that like some weird pathogen mutated or whatever, right? You can pin it on somebody or whatever, but you just find somebody to blame. But like as it stands currently, it's just there's a weird fungus. That's what you got.
Hmm.
But that doesn't have to be your first priority, depending on what your agent's personal priorities are in the situation. I just wanted to remind you all of the situation as it currently stands. So yes, you were talking about.
In order to,
Sorry.
just to clarify, so we need to have some way to pin this, or some piece of evidence saying some foreign agent released this. That initial vomity guy was connected to something.
Yeah, precisely. And you can fabricate that if you want to. If any of you might be good at that or would want to do that to get it done quickly. As far as the vomity guy goes, you did send his face, or I think Dr. Collins specifically sent his face in to get checked by facial recognition, but in this current time period, it's going to take some time for that to come back. You'll eventually learn an ID from that, but right now you don't quite have that. But hopefully soon.
Did the the sheriff, tell us where that took place? That traffic stop?
I don't think he specifically did, but you could ask. Or we could flash back to you having asked him, because that's a fairly reasonable thing to ask.
I think let's do that.
All right. I like this technique I heard recently of mixing a little Blades in the Dark into our Delta Green. So I will let you spend 2 willpower points to flash back to somebody having already asked the sheriff this question. Whoever wants to do it.
If Tide doesn't want to, I can.
I don't. I was at the police station. Can we do 1 and 1, or does it have to be 2 from 1?
I'll let you do 1 and 1. That's fine.
All right.
Woo! 8 willpower.
All right, so you guys are thinking about what to do next, and we flash back to you all in the sheriff's office. And one of you asks that question, where was this? Where did it happen? And one of the deputies actually is the one who responds, not the sheriff, just because you're watching the video with the deputies mostly. And they give you the location. He just names a road. I don't know what road this would be off the top of my head, but if you were to look up this road, the road itself doesn't appear to be of any note. It's just a little bit out of town, like past the more suburban areas and like into the woods and things. Not quite like onto a highway to get that far out of town, but kind of back roadsy. And it heads north. This location was north, and it is, you can see on the map a few different locations around. Yeah, you know what? You spent willpower points on this. I'll just give you some information. The things of note you see up in that direction are that it's fairly close to a large company labeled the Benthic Company. Very large manufacturing facility, which you could look up more information on potentially. It's also fairly close to like an old abandoned mine, specifically an asbestos mine that's up in the region.
It's always asbestos.
It is, yeah, it's classic. That That mine had a name, but I can't find it in my notes for some reason. I'm sorry. Oh, yes, here it is. Okay. Belvedere Mountain is an abandoned asbestos mine.
Oh, was that the name of the like summoning mountain? Wait, what was the name
I
of
believe the
summoning-
mountain that Hematite found out thinking about that tape really hard and just knowing the area well and like knowing some like customs of the tribes in the area and things like that was Owl's Head
Owlhead.
Mountain,
Okay.
which is nearby. It's also like on the other side of the city from there, but a few miles away
But-
kind of deal.
We do also know that these alien creatures like to hang out in mines.
Mm,
True.
All right, High Tide, what do you want to do? You
I
want
say we go back to the
get you some
hotel,
clothes?
get me
Yep.
clothes, check in on the deputy and the wife. Just a quick check. They're already going crazy. Might have to do something quick. And then go check in on the traffic stop.
All right, but after that, you want to the Benthic Company or the mine in Belvedere?
GM, can I, since I'm still working in intelligence,
Mhm.
and this is like on the books as us working for the FBI, could I give my boss a call and ask about the Benthic company?
I think you absolutely could. That would be a bureaucracy roll
Cool.
to see what you can get out
Ah.
of the bureaucracy. Rip. Well, hey, yep. Check the box. I think you call your boss. He's like, "What do you mean you need information from us in the area? That's not where we specialize in. Why don't you working for the FBI? Just call the FBI about it. This is not standard
Always the-
procedure."
Always the smartass.
You're the fancy pants over there working for the FBI, huh? Getting too big for our little agency down here?
Our little agency? We're a big intelligence agency. Come on, we're not little.
Don't patronize us, agent. You're coming back to us, right? We need you over here.
Yeah, I'll be back. At some point.
All right. Well, sorry, can't help you here.
Click.
Click.
Well, that sounds like it went well.
I would reluctantly be dialing the FBI phone number and look at Hollow and be like, "He made a good point."
If you're calling, through the channels Delta Green set up for you, this can be bureaucracy plus 20%. There you go.
Ooh,
Yes, and Hematite does have a car.
we do
but
need to
you're-
get back to regrouping with Hematite also.
Yes, Hematite is spending a few hours doing some encryption by hand, so that'll take a bit. But yes, High Tide, you were asking for information on what?
The Benthic company, because I don't trust companies.
Ah, classic.
I say as
Um,
I work for the government.
Yeah, so you find out it is a pharmaceutical research lab. Just a little bit out of the city here. not too much is known about it. They just kind of make all kinds of stuff. I mean, things are known about it, right? But nothing specifically jumps out. It's more like they have a ton of research programs at any given time. You know, you're kind of being asked to, like, could you narrow down your questions a little bit here?
Have they
Asking-
done any unethical treatments, or have they had anything that came back as like a bad rep for them?
Well, I'm sure any research company of this size that is this secretive has some skeletons in their closet, but nothing on public record. No, nothing that we're aware of. We've done some investigations. They haven't really given us any need to dig deeper.
Okay.
Anything? Hey, ask them if they have any like bacterial research in particular.
I would relay that question and add on to it. I know you said they have a lot of things, but do they have anything that they really specialize in?
Um, they have all kinds of research. They've got bacterial, they've got fungal, they've got just all sorts of different stuff over there. Of course, if it ends in "l," they probably do it. Um, they are. Let's see what's up here. I'm going to have this FBI agent roll accounting. Okay. Um, they're owned by a privately owned holding company based in Bermuda, as far as I can tell. Um, they
Oh, they got that triangle.
exactly. Um, following the trail a little deeper, looks like we have some notes from some previous investigations. They are currently owned by a corporation named Akayaso. An additional note on the document says that this is a sort of fusion of the names of Akeso and Iaso, the Greek goddesses of healing. Well, they definitely have hidden their tracks pretty well, though. That's as much as I can tell from our previous investigations here. I can spend some more time on it if you need more detailed information.
Um, if you could, but we might go check it out as well on the ground. And then, did you have any information on the Belvedere Mountain? It's an asbestos mine. Do you know when it was open and when it was closed and such?
Belvedere Mountain. You hear some keys clacking in the background. Yep. Appears to be the largest abandoned, previously operational asbestos mine in the nation. Complete train wreck, that place. Extremely toxic. Would not recommend going boots on the ground there unless you have a bunch of hazmat suits lying around.
We've got just the one. Has there been any movement? I think I would look at Hollow and say, I think we requested some, right, Hollow?
What, more suits? I don't think we did. We might have through Grace, but that's a different channel.
Yeah, that would be. This person would not know Grace.
Ah, okay. All right, well, thanks for the note on the mine. And if we do end up getting some hazmats, we might go check that out as well.
Of course, Agent. Click.
All right,
So-
let's get back to the hotel first. Get you some clothes. Check in.
Was Hematite in the sheriff's office parking lot doing all this encrypting?
Yep.
So I think we fade up on Hallow and High Tide as they drive over to the hotel. We fade back in on Hematite, just furiously but precisely crafting these elaborate encrypted notes. This, multiple stage cipher spread across different parts of the book in different styles of cipher, and it's a whole crazy elaborate web that is being spun right now. You see a whole bunch of police officers rush out of the office, like just rush into squad cars and take off with the sirens blaring. And you see a fire truck roll by as well.
I will glance up at it and go back to my notes. I haven't gotten a call from my friends, so it's probably not related.
All right. After
And
it
it's
calms
not
down,
important then.
That's fair. After it calms down, like a couple minutes later, seemingly once so many of the officers in the office have left, the sheriff wanders out the door and heads to the final remaining cruiser in the parking lot and sees your car there, like the only other car in the lot at the moment. He walks over and just raps on your window a couple times.
Help you?
Yeah, you were one of the agents that was with the group, right? I only saw you yesterday. Haven't interacted with you much.
Yep. I'm more of a linguist and anthropologist to the group.
I see. Listen, we have an emergency situation right now. I don't know if you've been informed.
If not, what's the emergency?
Oh boy. There's been an explosion where your friends were. They got out okay, as far as I know. The coroner went a little bit crazy. As far as I heard, he was eating metal. Something crazy like that. Can you believe it? He said something about cordyceps. You heard of this stuff? It's like ant fungus. Crazy.
I know there's stuff like that, but I haven't done much research into it myself.
Okay, well, the details are important. I've sent most of my men over there, but here's the other half of the emergency. The deputy we sent out to his wife's place, we've not heard back from him. And listen, we really need as much manpower as we can get right now. Can I get you to come along with me over there? I'm about to head over there myself.
Did any of my fellow agents say that they were going to check it out? Because I gave somebody else the hazmat suit, and we'd probably want that.
They were going to send me over there specifically, alone, instead of sending a squad. But I'll be honest, I could use some backup. We don't have any hazmat suits, unfortunately.
If I can, real quick, I think Hollow and Hightide were trying to tell them that they would go and check on her.
Oh, I totally misunderstood that then. Okay.
Oh, no, yeah. They were telling him, hey, your officers are probably better used somewhere else, and don't expose a bunch more people to her.
Okay. Well, I completely misunderstood your... You know what? I misunderstood your conversation with the sheriff, so did the sheriff. He also misunderstood.
That's kind of what I figured was going to happen. Like, yeah.
Sheriff's like, no, I'm going over there myself. We're not going to let these fancy agents from out of town go take care of... I don't want them bothering a late deputy's wife.
Look. If this is something serious enough to require a hazmat suit, I do not want you getting contaminated, because if you have to quarantine, this whole office is chaos.
Damn it, one of my men is over there and he hasn't responded back. You tell him I should do nothing.
I'm saying you're better used controlling the whole network of cops that you have and letting our agents who are trained and have a hazmat suit work with the potentially contagious contaminants.
I think my boys will look me in the eye the same way again if I sent them out there with their lives in danger and I sat back in the office and ordered them around.
Yes, because that's your job, to coordinate and be the one who has all the information. Isn't it?
Give me a persuasion roll. No.
Not very good at those.
You can check the box. Get a little better next time. All right, I'm going with or without you. He jogs over to his cruiser, looks back just very briefly to see if you're coming. Sounds like not. So he gets into the car.
We'll make a quick call to Hallow and Hightower, I think? Or is it
Yep.
Hunter? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'll give Hallow a call.
I love that Hallow is basically just becoming like the telephone operator for this crew, just the central control post. Yeah, so the call goes through.
Hello.
Hey, the sheriff's about to go check in on the coroner's wife on his own, with or without me. Should I go to keep an eye on him?
What? Shit. I thought I'd... God damn it. We were going to go there. Yes, you should probably keep an eye on him.
All right. I'll tail him.
Yeah.
And as
so
I'm
the
saying
coroner's
this, I'll
house
start the
exploded.
car.
Yeah, and he starts filling you in on
Yeah. And I
what
said,
all happened.
I heard. Saw a bunch of sirens. Chief police officer knocked on my door.
Yeah, we've got some more to tell you, probably in person the next time we see you, but just know that I have also seen what High Tide has seen previously now.
How
That is
far
present.
previously?
Both times.
Like, on our last opera?
You know how he sees the mold?
Oh, shit.
Yep.
Fuck. Okay, well,
We're
I will
We're
not leave
also
my
thinking
car.
about the Benthic Company and Belvedere Mountain, the asbestos mine. So after we check
All
out,
right. So we reconvene at the coroner's wife's house, and then we split up. Whoever has the hazmat suit checks out the asbestos factory, and we can trade off the hazmat suit if we need to.
that sounds good to me. Hope to see you at the coroner's at the Deputy Jacob's house.
So once I got confirmation that I was supposed to be following, I would pull out and kind of speed up to caravan with the police officer.
All right.
You also hear my muffled voice from the back of the car. And stay away from me, I might be infected too.
Yeah.
I'm not getting out of my car unless there's a crazy person that I need to shoot.
It's me, I'm the crazy person.
So, yeah, I will follow. I will keep an eye on, and yeah, essentially, I know I don't have a hazmat suit, so I'm not leaving my car unless it's absolutely necessary for cleanup purposes.
Makes sense. And noted. Hunter, you're at the hotel, and I think High Tide gets dropped off at some point. Maybe that's where we'll fade in, because you and Dr. Collins have just been kind of sweating and
We're
suffering.
at the hospital. Wink, wink.
Right, yeah, you're at the hospital, wink, wink. You've maybe both convinced each other of that at this point. It just kind of like the idea got floated back and forth a little bit. You're both just very delirious. Yeah, so High Tide shows up. It's been hours, but it's felt like days to you and Dr. Collins. You're not having a good time.
High Tide, you finally decided to visit us. Well, I guess hospitals aren't very fun places to be, so I guess thanks for taking some time to do it. As you can see, it's been a long week, but we're holding on. Isn't that right, Doc?
Yeah, well, should be any day now.
I would look at my phone and just kind of like nod my head as I start changing into other clothes. Are they in?
I think
Okay.
Hunter is completely naked by this point because of all the vomiting, probably. That's
Oh,
just the most
no.
comfortable state. He's just kind of draped on the floor like a starfish.
Doctor is just in the bathtub, kind of curled up.
I would at least try to get out of their vision for changing my clothes because I don't want to scar them with all of the blood that is probably on them.
They're all adapted to violence. Well, I guess you don't know if the doctor is or not, but that is a fair instinct either way. While you're changing, the doctor will call out from the bathroom. So they let visitors come in? Is it visiting hours?
It must be. Otherwise, they wouldn't let him do it, right?
Yeah, it's gotta be. I didn't think they'd do that in this situation.
I bet that we're, like, really close to being better then. Obviously, we're, like, not contagious or anything anymore.
You hear my voice sarcastically from the other room. Yeah, that's how it's working. I was exposed too, so I don't know. I might be joining you guys in the hospital soon, but
Oh,
we'll
well.
see.
Shit.
I was gonna say something about, like, like a joke about bad hospital food, but actually, yeah, we haven't been able to eat, so I guess you won't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, I heard you guys say something about baking soda, and I took a teaspoon of it, just
Yeah,
ate that straight, and it didn't work.
You're gonna need more than that.
Oh, you need medicine? I'll give you medicine. The doctor starts to
Yeah,
very
the
slowly.
The doctor
get out of
knows
the
what
tub.
to do.
Roll
This might as well
medicine.
be his hospital.
If you accept his treatment, he will administer the baking soda properly. However that works, I don't know. I have no idea how this shit actually happens.
Did Hollow come into the hospital, or are you still out in the car?
I'm in the car.
Chilling in the car outside a hotel in a hazmat suit.
Yep, just kind of sitting there tapping like, we need to go.
But weren't you dropping him off? You could have just left.
Oh, that's true. I can just drop him off and pick him back up after after linking up with Hematite at
Yeah.
My
it's a good
understanding was they were just stopping to change, and he
Oh.
would be dropped off if he showed symptoms, because
like getting worse.
they likely needed multiple hands to deal with the deputy and the wife.
Yeah,
And I'm not getting out of the car.
Yeah, I would probably refuse treatment from the doctor at this point. And
Since the treatment. Oh.
Wait, you want
It's
me
good
to?
for you. It's better. I would say accept the treatment personally.
Well, I would.
It's not fun, but come on, you gotta take your medicine. What are you, little baby?
Well, no, I'm not a little baby. You guys both got it over the night. So I think
Yeah, and we've been getting better ever since.
Hey now.
He says, completely naked, spread eagle on the floor.
The floor slopes ever so slightly, and I'm almost imperceptibly sliding along that slope.
He's
Yeah.
fighting heat stroke. It's very important.
All right, guys. All right, cool. Yeah. So, hello. Do you want me to come with you and help? Because I've already been exposed, and I could be an assistant. But if you want me to get treatment, I can stay here too.
Assuming he's on the phone. Yeah, probably just get treatment.
All right.
I'll let Hematite know that you might be laid up for a little bit, but I'll be back. We'll see how you and Hunter are when we're done with that.
Hunter's like 3 days, right?
Yeah, they both rolled.
We don't even really
down.
know how infected he is, though, right? We just know that he's tackled him. We're pretty sure he's infected.
Yeah, you don't know for sure. Hunter has not displayed any symptoms yet, but neither is High Tide.
He's just eating sodium bicarbonate and really
Yeah.
hating it.
Exactly. The sodium bicarbonate is really what Hunter's actually going through right now, which is what High Tide will be going through shortly.
All right. Do I roll the 2d4?
Yes, 2d4 to see how long it will take.
Oh, watch me roll an 8. You need a space in between it? Come on.
Oh,
Huh?
could have been worse.
Could have
Average.
definitely been worse.
All right.
And is that 1 constitution damage?
1 constitution damage, that's correct.
All right, cool. I'm already down by 2.
Go. Okay, so you settle in somewhere in the hotel room. Where is it? Where do you settle in for the suffering?
Bathroom's full, sorry.
I
Shit,
would.
Brad.
Oh no, I would definitely do it like near the TV and just turn on the TV so I don't have to hear them yammering about the hospital.
Excellent. I love the idea of most of that scene, us seeing it from just Hallow being in the car, calling High Tide, and hearing all the insane babblings like phone. That's just the entire scene.
He's just
Craziness.
increasingly happy he didn't get out of the car.
Yes. So Hallow's off to chase down Hematite, is that right?
Yep.
So you'll be a little delayed to that scene, so we'll switch back to Hematite then. Hematite, you follow the sheriff over there, and after seeing you behind him, he actually throws on his lights and accelerates dramatically. And you just stick behind him, and it seems like that was the intention. He's just leading you in a police caravan across town. So you get there very rapidly. Upon arriving, he stops, sees that you followed him, kind of gestures to you like, "Are you coming?"
I think I would get out of the car but stay very far back.
All right.
And I would
So-
have my hand in my purse.
Right. So he sees you standing there, and I think he's smart enough to understand what you're doing here. So he shakes his head and shrugs and walks up to the door, kind of like stomping up the stairs a little bit. He seems frustrated just by the whole situation. You see him knock on the door. You see, it's hard to see from the distance you're at. So I feel like a roll would be good to see how well you see this, but I'm not sure what that roll should be. Maybe.
Can I say that I've been, I was thinking of following but keeping like a 10-foot distance?
A 10-foot distance? I mean, yeah, you could do that. Okay. So you follow just
enough that I'm not going to get projectile vomited on, and I have a split second to back out of the way if anything goes south.
It can go well over 10 feet.
Yeah, I think it hit High Tide at like 20 or 30 feet. But regardless,
No, I was 10 feet away.
You were 10 feet. Okay. But regardless, you stay a little back behind the sheriff, and yeah. So he knocks at the door, and I guess since you're closer, I can describe a little better to you. A woman answers the door, and she is pale. Her skin is almost like gray and a little bit translucent, like that level of pale. Not just like bright white pale, but like extremely sickly pale. Like her skin is not like really human skin looking before. It almost, in a very small way, reminds you of that fleshy mass you saw before. It was like flesh, but not quite flesh. Similar, not exactly, but along those same lines. She looks very sweaty, not like sweat dripping down her, but just extremely clammy. And you notice pretty much immediately, for a supposedly 7-month pregnant woman, she looks very not pregnant. Actually looks extremely skinny to the point of like being malnourished.
Is the person I came with surprised by that?
I think he sees her face at first, and they just give like greetings. She's like, oh, Sheriff Potter, welcome, come on in. And the sheriff stands at the door like, no, Christina, it's okay. I'm just here with I'm here with another agent. We just had some questions. We're checking out, making sure you're okay. He does not seem to notice. He's just continuing the conversation.
I
She like
will
goes
speak
in.
up and say, "Ma'am, are you doing all right? You don't look well."
Oh, I'm fine. I feel better than ever. Yeah, I'm totally fine.
Did you have a visitor earlier today?
No. Oh, wow. Should I have been expecting one?
Is she telling the truth?
You can give me a human to roll. Ooh. Her mannerisms are definitely not normal when she says that. And in fact, she kind of like, her head turns aside a little bit and she touches the back of her neck, kind of looks off to the side like, no, there was no visitor today. You gather that was not the truth.
Ma'am, are you sure? Because we did send somebody to do a wellness check, somebody reliable.
Well, clearly not reliable enough, I suppose. No one showed up at my door. You're the first visitors I've had in weeks, really. Weeks, yes, weeks. Well, I've been mostly alone since, just time grieving.
Have the guy at this point?
You completely cut out there, sorry.
The dead body were sent here for been dead for weeks at this point?
I think it's 6 days later right now.
That sounds accurate, but she did say weeks. If you want, I made some stew. If y'all want to stop in, I could, just prepare a meal for you all. In fact, Sheriff, I don't know your friend here. I'm Christina, by the way. And you are?
Oh, I said Sapphire.
Oh, Discord did not let you.
Lovely.
Sapphire.
Is this better?
It is.
Cool.
Very pretty name. Very pretty name. Listen, I haven't told anybody yet, but I could show you something.
Ma'am, what happened to your baby?
You see her head kind of tilt to the side a little bit, one of her eyebrows raises, and she says, "Oh, so you already knew, huh? That's what I was going to show you, actually. Sheriff, it's a miracle. It's crazy. You've got to see. Come on." The sheriff is kind of looking back and forth between the two of you, very concerned.
I think if you're all right bringing your surprise to us, I think we'd rather stay out here if that's okay.
No, I can't. No, she's sleeping.
So it's a daughter.
Yes.
What'd you name her?
Christina Jr.
Okay.
A very human name.
Does she have a middle name?
Nope.
All right. That's
You,
certainly a choice.
What's your human score?
55.
Okay, I won't even make you roll for it. I think it seems like she made up that name on the spot, and she had not considered a name.
Yeah, I figured. I'm stalling.
I could show you, really. And I just made that stew. It's a big pot. It'll feed all of us. Come on in.
We're waiting on a friend, actually.
Yeah. Oh, we're waiting on a friend. Yeah. Oh well, there should be enough to go around for more. Just one more friend. Splitting the stew 4 ways should work well enough.
Just one more for now. Yeah.
And that's when Hallow pulls up, conveniently. In a hazmat suit.
I will walk over to the car and smile and say, "Hey, glad you can make it. Christine here has invited us to see Christine Jr. and come in for a big pot of freshly made stew."
Well, that doesn't sound ominous.
Why are you wearing that? That doesn't. Just kind of trails off mid sentence and then stares at like the top right corner of the door frame. Ma'am, are you? He reaches out to touch her shoulder, and as he does, like not even thinking about the contamination right now, just being weirded out at the sight in front of him, he touches her shoulder, and she like backs off from him really quickly, and then says, "Oh, I'm sorry. What were we saying? What was
My friend here would be really interested in seeing Christina Jr.
Oh, yeah. Well, come on inside. Come on, let's. Your friend's name is. I'm Christina, by the way.
Real quick, as Hallow's getting out and like taking taking stock of the situation, is there any evidence of any vehicles being here earlier in the day?
Um, this is yes. There, in fact, is a police cruiser parked in the driveway.
Hi. He looks at the sheriff and he's like, he points at the cruiser. Like, Sheriff, where's your guy?
He turns his back to Christina, and just kind of like makes a grimace at you and kind of shakes his head slightly, no, like.
First visitors Christina's had today.
Really now?
I say, all bright and cheerful and definitely
actually.
suspicious.
Ma'am, if that's the case, can you explain the presence of this here police cruiser?
That's my husband's cruiser. Come to take it away yet.
He looks
Touches the
over
back
at the
of her neck again.
Since you're still geared
Ma'am,
up from the
we're gonna
last
need you to please step out of the house.
Why am I? No, you're coming inside. Come on, we're gonna have stew. You're gonna see my baby.
Sheriff, please back up.
The sheriff slowly backs away. What's going on? No, listen. We're gonna be friendly here. We can.
We're still friendly. Hey, would you please step out of the house? We'd like to ask you a few questions about your husband and the incident that he was involved in.
Why do I need to step out of? He trails off again and starts staring at the door frame again.
I don't see anything on the door frame.
Nope.
Perhaps you're still all dressed up from the thing before. Do you mind taking the lead and maybe you and I can check in the house if we need to?
If that's the only way this is gonna go, that's fine with me. Ma'am, let's see this stew that you're talking about.
Oh, good.
Hal is also making sure to be armed.
It's
He's not
mushroom stew.
taking any chances. Oh, is that so? Hello, like half stumbles upon hearing mushroom. And looks over at hematite.
Yeah, so hematite's gonna like hang out in the doorway, like technically cross the threshold to appease this woman.
Mm-hmm. So she leads you into the house. Sorry, go ahead.
And is gonna whisper to Hallow, think just playing along will help us figure out how bad things are, and then we can deal with it once we know. And then I'll step aside to let him in.
All right.
Right.
So Hello will go in to investigate.
The house is in extreme disarray. It looks like things have kind of been thrown around in here now that you're inside. Like, it's not just messy from things piling up over time. It's like actively, somebody has been throwing things around in here. But Christina does not seem to notice. And she just happily leads you into the house. At one point, like halfway down the foyer hallway, she just kind of stops and stares directly at the ground and starts breathing heavily.
Question. Are there bits of metal that I'm noticing the absence of?
Ooh, give me a search roll. Yes, absolutely. I think you see what appears to be like a radiator that some of the paint has been licked off of. You see like screws missing from things. It appears that the smoke detectors have all been taken out and their batteries gutted from the detectors, things like that.
I am going to check my phone and say, I'm getting a call. I'll be right in a sec.
Oh, take your time, take your time. She suddenly looks up from the heavy breathing she was doing.
And I will step out and tell the person there, get in your car, stay there. She's showing all the same symptoms that the coroner did.
Give me a persuasion roll at plus 20%. He is scared right now, but he also does not want to back down. Oh, that is exactly a success with the plus 20%. So he seems reluctant and he kind of like tilts his head forward and to the side a little bit towards you, like, are you serious right now? And you just kind of nod back and yeah.
Make a makeshift mask out of some of my shawls.
And seeing how serious you are, he shakes his head and dejectedly walks back to his car.
And then walk in, hopefully staying 20 to 30 feet away. But for GM purposes, I have my hand on the bottle of unknown corrosive liquid in case she makes a move.
All right. So something Hallow could not detect because he's in a hazmat suit, but something you can. The house has an extremely overpowering, musty smell. Do you have the forensic skill? Don't think so.
No.
So you don't recognize exactly what the smell is, but it does smell strange and funky, and musty.
I would comment on it. That's an interesting air freshener you have here, ma'am. Smells oddly musty.
I don't smell anything except the stew cooking. It's I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, that's the smell of the stew then.
Probably it's the only thing I smell right now.
Hello's slowly following behind, with one hand behind his back, just pistol ready. He's not taking any chances with what he finds in this house. He's fully expecting that other officer to be chopped up or something too.
All right. So she leads you into the kitchen. You guys follow slowly. And you can see a pot on the stove that appears to be like legitimately she just took like a bunch of packages of mushrooms from the store and just tossed them in the pot and like ran some water over it and just started letting that boil. That's essentially what she has in the pot.
No chunks of meat or anything?
You don't see any chunks of meat. Do you get close enough to the stew to look into it though?
I kind of approach and see if the smell gets stronger.
It does not.
Okay. Then I will peek into it.
Okay. You get a little closer, and with your slightly more flexible movement than Hallows in the hazmat suit, you'd have to get pretty close to her. Are you okay with that? Because she's standing next to it.
Never mind then.
Okay, yeah, she's like ready to serve it from the pot, basically.
Okay, I'll just watch and see what comes out.
Okay. So she grabs a bowl and a ladle and starts serving it. And as she ladles out spoonful by spoonful into a bowl, you hear some like clinking sounds. And then she says, "Oh, dear, you're not gonna be able to eat through that. You should probably take that off. I don't know why you'd even wear that around. Anyways, it's safe in here."
Where are the clinking sounds coming from?
From the bowl.
As in, like, not just the
As
spoon
in-
hitting the side of the bowl?
As in, there is something hard in the stew. Several little hard things in the stew.
Would I have seen, like,
Yeah.
bits of metal going into the stew?
I think you're a little too far away, but and it's just kind of a thick, brown, gross liquid. But you did hear clinking.
Yeah.
You can probably pretty easily put together that it's metal. But you have not physically confirmed that yet, no.
Man, I'm still a little bewildered at your lack of pregnancy. We were told that you were 7 months pregnant. Can we see your daughter?
Oh, yes, after we eat. Here, she insistently hands you the bowl. She's sleeping right now.
I would like, man.
I'll take it and take it from him and, like, inspect it, like, poke the spoon around a little bit.
There appear to be a small handful of watch batteries in the stew.
And I was like, delicious, but I'm allergic to mushrooms.
Oh, that's a shame. I can cook something else up for you if you want. I'd hate for you not to partake in my hospitality while you're here.
I appreciate the offer, and it truly is a thought that counts. I actually ate earlier. Thought this was just going to be a wellness check.
She continues to like insist, like, no, I insist, I insist. And as she's talking with you, her facial expression doesn't change at all, but like tears start to stream down her cheeks. I insist, really. I insist. I can make you something.
Why don't you get something else going, and we can meet your daughter?
Okay, yeah, okay. And she turns, taking the bowl back from you, and then she drops it on the floor, and it shatters, and mushrooms and batteries go everywhere. And then her hands are shaking, and she is staring between her hands, and then she falls to her knees, just weeping on the floor.
Christina, are you okay? Hollow like kneels down next to her.
I need to call them. I need to bring them. I'm going to be with them. Me and my baby. We're going together. It's where we belong.
Are there any like kitchen towels nearby that Hal can start tying her up with as she's incapacitated doing this?
I mean, there are certainly towels around. I think trying to tie her up with them while wearing a hazmat suit, I'm gonna require a roll with a penalty, but possibly.
Yeah.
I think
signal
Hematite
Hematite
would
to help out with this too.
Hmm?
Yeah, I'll signal Hematite to help out with getting
Yeah.
her restrained.
I think. Let's see. I think Hematite would take one of her shawls off, because obviously she's wearing several. It's what she does. So she'd keep one around her face and take one to, like, tie the hands up.
Okay.
And kind of baby style, like encase the hands so that she can't scratch at herself or scratch at the things. Her hands are like kind of balled up together and tied.
Okay. I think
Hal
it's
will
an
also put a
athletics.
gag on her if he can, because he doesn't want her vomiting on hematite. Like,
Okay.
uh,
So, who among you has the higher athletic score?
And
sorry, I had to cough. My athletics is 30.
So
I
whoever
guess
has the
that's me.
highest, yeah, go ahead and roll athletics. I'll give you plus 20% because she's like in an emotional breakdown. But as you're trying to tie her up, she suddenly like draws back from you and like backs into the corner of the room trying to get away. She's like, "No, no, no, I have to go to them. I have to get my baby. We're going to go together. You can't stop us. You can't."
Wolty, don't worry. I know how to get to the star people.
Roll me a persuasion plus 40%. You know how to the star. Wait, I belong there. Do you belong there too? Are you going to them?
Eventually. We wanted to make sure you were okay first.
I have to get my baby. We're going. You suddenly hear a baby crying upstairs, and she just rushes off that like full sprint, like has to like stop herself from hitting the wall with her hands against the wall, and then like runs up the stairs backwards from there.
High tide follows. High tide. Hallow follows.
High tide appears. Da, da, da,
Yeah,
da.
high tide appears. He's not sick anymore.
But I wanted to watch TV.
She leads you upstairs, and as she does, you see a couple of feet poking out from one of the side doors, but she doesn't go down that door. She goes down a door at the end of the hall. She just passes by the feet, kind of steps over the feet that are sticking out of the door. Adult-sized feet in shoes.
I think hematite would open that door. Just nudge it open.
There is a police officer face down on the floor, his hands kind of like grabbing at part of his head. And you can see there is what appears to be a very like jagged little like crystal bowl thing that looks like it was ripped off of a side table nearby, and then he's got a like a very bloody wound on the back of his head. He's just lying on face down on the floor.
Is he breathing?
No. You you adapted to violence, recognize a dead body when you see one, but you are not affected by it.
Okay, I will take my phone out and snap pictures.
All right. Hallow, you followed Christina down the hall to her baby, and as you get to the door, maybe passing by Hematite on the way, you can see she has already entered the room, and pulling up from a cradle is a baby. Asterisk. Give me a sanity check, please. Okay. You take 1 point of sanity damage from the unnatural.
Okay.
Christina lifts a baby from the cradle. The baby is not so much made of flesh, but there are sort of patches of flesh. There are other patches that are just fungus, shaped like a baby. This fungus appears to be occasionally flickering in and out of reality. When it flickers out, you just see the left behind flesh, you know, like where a part of the baby's body scooped out would be. it's not like the fungus gets replaced with flesh. It just leaves a gaping wound behind when it disappears, and then flickers back into existence moments later. In some spots, the fungus kind of weaves into the flesh, going up veins and things like that, spiraling out like it is roots growing into the ground. The baby does not seem to be in pain from this. It seems to be crying in a more hungry way. Once its mother lifts it from the cradle and starts nursing it, it calms down pretty much immediately. It does not seem otherwise bothered. The baby is remarkably large for, it appears to be growing quite quickly, assuming that it, was born within the last few days. Might even be toddler-sized, like, pretty soon. Don't worry, baby. We're going up to the Star People soon. These people know. They're gonna take us there. We're gonna go.
How long ago was that child born?
A couple weeks ago.
Before or after your husband disappeared?
Oh, after.
Right. And so in her sense of time, this is still completely incorrect, right?
Correct, yep.
Need to contain the situation. So how do we do that?
Did you say that out loud?
No, this is me, the player, just being like, what do we? All right.
This is me asking a question because I can't recall off the top of my head. Where was the tape? Was it destroyed? I thought there was something that it wasn't like fully destroyed.
It's in a plastic baggie slowly disintegrating.
Who's
In the back of the police car that's outside?
Yes. The one that
Okay.
Hallow showed up in.
Did Hello bring it?
It's probably still in the car.
Okay.
But what to do here and right now?
Okay, so at this point, Hematite's probably joined and seen this monstrosity.
Roll sanity. All right. 8 points of sanity damage on a failure.
Okay.
To the unnatural.
That's way more than 2.
And way more than 5, which is the temporary insanity threshold.
Yes. And second, that puts me past my breaking point, all in the same
Well,
one.
You can
Let's
push.
rewind a little bit. Yes, you can push this onto one of your bonds. It won't fully deplete it, but it may help with a few things here. You don't have to, of course, but it is an option.
To push some of it onto a bond.
Okay, so roll a d4. Okay, so you still take 6 points of sanity damage. You take 2 points of damage to your willpower points, and you deal 2 points of damage to one of your bonds.
Okay, and I can't retroactively choose to undo that?
Oh, sorry. Did you mean to say you were not doing that?
Oh, I was going to. Okay, it didn't do anything. Okay, I still hit my breaking point with that.
Okay. Yeah, no, you can't undo it because the roll was poor. But yes, so you're still gonna hit your breaking point. So Hematite is having a very bad, no good time at seeing this. You may even be wondering why Hallow is not as affected as you are. What triggers here? You have paranoia and a few other things at this point, I think.
I have paranoia and a sleep disorder at this point.
Ah, okay. So the paranoia absolutely kicks in. Oh boy. And then we'll work out the breaking point later. But for now, you also need to choose fight, flight, or freeze in this moment. And I will say, there's a secondary projection opportunity here. If something like your paranoia would be inconvenient for you right now, or this temporary insanity would be inconvenient for you right now, you can separately project both of those things onto bonds as well. You won't save your sanity points, but you can avoid those consequences with more bond damage. Can't avoid the breaking point, though, unfortunately.
Okay. I mean, it really does make sense for hematite. So she's just gonna uncap the bottle of corrosive liquid and throw it at Mama and Baby.
Okay.
All right.
So you're choosing fight.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a reminder, with the fight temporary insanity, you cannot stop this temporary insanity until your target is dead or destroyed.
Starting with a bottle of unknown corrosive liquid.
Absolutely. Give me an
And-
athletics roll, and we're gonna enter.
Okay.
Well, it's not a fumble. We'll say you toss it, and it's just an awkward angle, and you just miss. It splashes against the back wall, and starts to eat into the wood a little bit. You can see like the curtains get eaten up by this liquid very quickly. The walls start getting burned away. Actually, we're not going to enter initiative here. Because as the walls get eaten away, the baby stops nursing on its mother and just reaches its hand out towards the wall, and the mother just takes the baby over to it, and it starts scooping up some of the goo from the wall that is being like actively dissolved, and just starts chomping on that. And the mother looks down proudly. Give me another sanity roll, both of you.
Please tell me it gets some of the acid as well.
Oh, it absolutely does. But
It doesn't
you get
do
the feeling
anything.
you get the feeling it craves acid. It saw the acid, smelled the acid you threw, and it specifically sought that out as a treat. Okay, so on a critical success, 1 point of sanity damage. Hello, this is not going to be as rough as the other one. So it's not seeing the target for the first time, but still max 4 points of sanity damage upon seeing the baby just eat dissolving acid wall.
Okay, I'm gonna push for that. So
Alright.
it's a D4.
It's just a light afternoon snack.
Oh, how thoughtful of you to bring food for my baby. How did you know? Well, I guess you know the star people. That's... Oh, look at her. So you'll take 1 point of sanity damage, project 3 points onto a bond, and your willpower points.
Okay. I am going to... Hematite's not being rational.
Hallow has seen this all kick off, so he's like, okay, we're doing this. And rushes at Christina and tries to rip the baby out of her arms and throw it against the wall.
Okay. Give me an athletics roll.
Can this be unarmed combat?
Yes, it can be. You rush over. She's not really paying attention to you. She's just proudly looking down at her child and seems kind of out of it in general. And in fact, we'll say, with a bit of luck here, you feel like, we saw that body. Somebody was brutally hit over the head and apparently killed instantly. She apparently has quite a bit of strength right now. But you have luck on your side here with a successful die roll. She goes into one of those fits she's been having where she just kind of stares off into space, starts babbling something, and more tears stream down her face, and her grip on her baby goes loose at the exact moment you reach out to swipe it from her. And what are you doing with it?
Hallow is trying to swipe it and throw it against the opposite wall as hard as he can. Like throw it
Oh, God.
away from her and against the wall.
Alright, roll 1d4 minus 1 for unarmed damage. I think that's the normal one.
Oh, let's don't hit max.
All I'm gonna say is splat, and we fade out from that scene with a terrified scream of the mother. High Tide, Hunter, we fade in on your hotel room. The doctor has risen from the bathtub and is just standing in the middle of the room.
You feeling better, Doc?
I understand. I get it.
Fuck.
This whole place was a hospital the whole time. Everywhere around us. Everything was, it was all a great big bookshelf. We were just a story. We're a dream.
Doc,
We're someone else's dream.
I think you maybe need to eat something. You sound a little delirious.
I'm fine. I'm better than ever.
No, I don't think you are. I don't think if you
I-
were, that's what you'd be saying.
I know my
Maybe, I
place.
don't know.
I know where I'm meant to be. I'm meant to be up there with them.
Yeah, you had to be in your bed until you get discharged. You should know that you're a doctor.
I'm a doctor. I run this place. I'm not a patient. He starts stripping off all his clothes as well. Stands confidently in the middle of the room. It's time. He slicks back his hair. Like, they're coming. I need to call them.
They took my guns when they checked me in, I bet.
Guns.
Do-
Yes, I need guns.
Does he have unlike the others, does he have a lot of energy right now, or does he look drained?
He looks extremely pale to you, but he's like standing up and moving around more than he was before.
Is the shower curtain open or closed right now?
Open. I mean, he's standing in the middle of the hotel room when he came out of the bathroom. But you could run in there and grab it.
No, if he's standing next to the bed, I'm going to take the sheets and try to just tie him in.
Okay. Give me an athletics roll. Plus 20% because he's not paying attention.
Athletics, where's that one? There it is.
Nice. So he's standing there, starting to proclaim. He's getting louder and louder, like starting to scream. He's just looking up at the ceiling and like crying, just as if he's looking through the ceiling, even up at the sky that clearly he can't see. There's a ceiling in the way. He just keeps saying these strange things about dreams. And right as you begin to tie him up, he starts to say, "Thunder, thunder! I can hear the thunder. The thunder's getting closer. It's getting more rapid. It's a dance. It's a song. It's where I belong. I need to." And then you wrap him up in the towel, the sheets, and maybe he starts to get muffled, and he struggles. And, no! I'm gonna go. You're gonna let me go. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna straight up just
Kick
tie
his
him up.
ass.
I'm gonna straight up just tie him up, lay him on the ground, face down, and just go back to watching TV while sitting on him.
Holy shit.
And I would just look over at Hunter and be like, "The coroner was spouting this bullshit earlier, and I'm
Yeah.
not dealing with it again."
You gotta tie me up to is the only way. I'm probably gonna be just like him. But you gotta do it. I'm already naked.
Don't worry, officer. We're all sane here.
Oh no. These guys are having such a bad time for no
Uh-huh.
reason.
Oh.
Do you tie up Hunter as well? Or do you just let him babble?
I'm just gonna let him babble at
I'm
this
gonna
point.
writhe across the floor toward you, begging you to tie me up if you don't do it. It's for my own good.
Go on, please. You just gotta do it before I go crazy. Well, I'm still.
Before.
Sorry.
Before?
While I'm still in my right mind, you gotta do it. Who knows what I'll do when I go crazy?
So if I used...
Get some nurses if you gotta. Get whatever help you need.
So if I use the sheets, there's like a blanket.
I think it was a multiple bed room, so you could just grab the other sheets. Or the blanket,
Alright.
whatever you want to do.
I'll just give in and tie up Hunter too, but I'm not gonna sit on him.
It seems like he's willing,
Thank
so I
you.
won't make you roll for it.
Oh, well, thank you. We're safe now. Thank you. Oh, it'll be okay now.
High Tide, roll me a d4 -1. Not for damage, though, don't worry. Close.
Wait, how do I...
No space before the word roll.
Oh, god dang it.
So close. Okay, you recover 2 points of sanity. As you were
Nice.
so assured in that situation and so unbothered, and you managed to essentially take out a threat here by tying up the doctor. The fact that you just went back to just watching TV unbothered afterwards felt like you deserved some sanity back from that, so.
I mean, he was spouting the same exact stuff the coroner was going on about, and I hit him in the head with a wooden post, so...
Yep.
The last
Honestly,
time I got
this is a
vomited
much
on it.
more measured response.
Not again.
True. I think that's
We
where
aren't arranging any gas accidents in the hotel yet.
True. I think our last scene is just watching the two naked men writhe on the floor while High Tide sits over them and just casually watches like some random bullshit reality TV show that's on that people are just yapping. And just we zoom in on High Tide's face with the reflection of the TV, and it's just this tired face. Getting closer, we cut, and that's the end of tonight's session. Thank you all for